Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy JohnnyGoVroom. Today we're going to be checking out the Grizzla Sync extensions, the Sync XLs. These things excel at giving you so much control, so much power, agility. I can flick around my Master Pro like it's the rocket now. It's absolutely absurd, guys. Before we get too far into that, if you are new to the channel, hey, welcome. My name's Johnny. I started this channel because this electronic unicycle thing, the world of EUCs, got me away from drinking, it got me out of toxic dating, and frankly, it helps me daily with depression. It just keeps me in a good mood. You can't hum through reality at 30 to 50 miles an hour. Honestly, you don't even need to go that fast. Just floating through reality just brings so much joy to me, and I figured maybe it could help other people too, and so that's why we're all here. If you want to support me on this mission, all you have to do is like the video, you could subscribe, you can share the content, and I also have a members section for people who want to see way more content. I have a long format video series that goes members first, and a lot of those videos just stay inside the member section. It's called Johnny Rides, and that's just long format, long dialogues while I'm narrating my rides while I'm riding, and it's kind of cool. It's very in the moment, lots of spontaneity, lots of cool encounters, and lots of firsts, lots of thoughts that I have about the wheels as I'm formulating for the traditional videos. So if you want to see more, way more Johnny, then that's the best way to do it. So today we're diving into something that I've been dying to talk about: the new Grizzla Sync XL extensions. First, I'll walk you through the aesthetic and overall feel, because these things completely change the look of your setup. I mean, you can see. Then we'll get into the acceleration and power gains, how they let me throw around my 130-pound Master Pro like it's a rocket. After that, we'll cover stopping power and braking control, and then wrap up with how these things actually improve agility and stability while riding. I'll show you how the extensions are available both as standalone or paired with the sync pads, plus a few optional upgrades like the Grizzla lights. I personally recommend that for a clean aesthetic, but if you're on a budget, you can grab some off the shelf at Amazon, and they will absolutely still do the trick and fit. And before anyone asks, no, these power pads do not rip off once they're on. But the cool thing is you can still move them around easily while you're dialing in the fitment, especially if you use the included spatula, which honestly should just come standard on every setup. Okay, so let's get into it. I mean, what can I say? Dude, these things, they speak for themselves. They are absolutely epic in their presentation. They are far removed from the traditional format for power pads. By far and away the most ergonomic presentation in a power pad by virtue of the flow around the edges, the way that they smoothly curve, the way that there's no real sharp corner or edge about the pads. They evenly flow all the way through into the rider and take the rider's lean and flow into consideration with the way that they are presented, creating a seamless aesthetic that is futuristic, contemporary, but also still nature, very, very nature bound in its aesthetic as well. It kind of reminds me almost of like a shell, of like sacred geometry, the way that the degrees of the front pad flow, and the way that the soft pad is applied. And this is speaking in terms of the sync pad and not just the extension. But when you add the extension to that, for me, I was really apprehensive. I was nervous that we would lose that flow, that fluidity, that nice curvature of support that comes from the ankle up through the shin, or the Achilles tendon up through the back of the calf when braking. And I was just worried that we would lose. Dang, that was so caught me off guard. But that's why I approach all of the corners with care and caution, especially blind corners, because you never know when a bicyclist is going to pop up, or you're going to pop up on a bicyclist. Because really, guys, it's not all about us. And, wanted to try to get that turn early. So that's why I crossed the road. Anyway, And yeah, the colors that you can choose as far as this goes, they have so many colors. You can pick colors for the soft pad. You can pick colors for the firm base portion. And as you can see, you've got some reflectors there in the back and some reflectors in the front. I thought that people would appreciate that you could sit down fully on your wheel with the entire top portion engaged. And there you see it right here. So in terms of the look, absolutely futuristic, this very sacred geometry, natural kind of primal energy about it, and it's still futuristic at the same time. It just carries almost this like Wakanda kind of thing, if that makes sense, just because there's none of that angled jutted stuff, and you can kind of see the difference. And I appreciate the contrast on my wheel here, particularly with the Master Pro kit that I got from Clark, where you can see those angles are very sharp, very pointed. And then you get into the nice smooth curvature and design of the sync pads. And I think that contrast is super
Lastly,
epic.
the choice for the circle lights was epic in my opinion, like switching up from the rectangular ones, which you can certainly get on Amazon, to the circular ones. It really gives that retro future vibe, that Nautilus kind of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or like Batman Searchlight vibes. It just... And you can see, man, it's got me feeling so good. I'm syncing myself to the music. I'm locked in. I'm vibing. I'm flowing. I feel in total control. Lord have mercy. I had no idea what to expect when Eric over at Grizzla mentioned the extensions. I didn't know how we could make this better. I did know that on bigger wheels, I really felt like I needed more real estate up top by the shin, but I didn't even know. If you asked me, I couldn't have told you where I would have wanted that extra material to go, because I never actually put it in a place that ever felt good for me. And it's wild because I ride these electric unicycles so often, and I just didn't know where the logical place to put that extra material was, because traditionally we always put that extra material up at about a 45-degree angle from the axle. So it goes up at about a 45-degree angle from, not the axle, but like the center point of the pedal. So it kind of goes up at about a 45-degree angle from there. That's traditionally how we do the top pad. And I've never felt it that way, that ever felt really comfortable for me. I mean, maybe for novice, for people in their beginner phases, you want that extra material up by the shin. Maybe for lower powered wheels that you don't want to overcommit, that might be very important to maintain control and not end up cutting out a wheel like a V8 or a V5 or, you know, an M10 or A2 or A1 or whatever it is that they got going on like that. So, you know, for those wheels, maybe it's best to keep that shin part engaged. But I had no idea where I wanted to put that extra material. And so when I saw how they had the extra material implemented, and when I married it to the wheel and I mounted it all as one kit, and I realized that it just kind of fluidly went in and it kind of wrapped around and went further out, creating more of a horizontal leverage point than a vertical leverage point. And that horizontal leverage point, you can feel it when you jump off the cliff, when you jump off the edge, when you come off the edge of the wheel in the front with the pads, when you bring your knees forward. That's what I call like jumping off the cliff. When you do so, you feel this thing kind of underneath you, barely perceivable, but you can use it to garner so much more stability and acceleration, power, just ridiculously. And you never lose that sense of freedom, that sense of fluidity and flow. At any point in time, do you ever lose that? And so I found myself effortlessly, you know, getting up to like 50 miles an hour in a blink. And that never happens on the Master Pro. Never, never, never. I mean, well, you know, ever since I got the bearings swapped, it feels like a completely different wheel anyway. So if you have a Master Pro version 3 or any of them, highly recommend a bearing swap. You'll have a brand new wheel on your hands. It's not an easy job, but it's a dang worth it job. And it's also incredibly satisfying towards the end there. I say towards the end because the process itself is just challenging. But the power, absolutely insane. And then the last component of like the power with acceleration here is that your heel at the base of your Achilles tendon, your heel, when you lean forward, is going to grab onto the back pad. And so you get this insane sense of acceleration control, not only from your body weight being in front of the axle, but then you also have this extra shin lever point about horizontal that catches you when you jump off the cliff there. And then you also have this really comfortable grab at the base of your Achilles tendon right there at your heel. So, I mean, it's insane. And additionally, they don't come off. They don't rip off. They don't. Like, I've thrown all of my weight. They just don't come off. And once I got into the bag here, you see me like kind of moving side to side. Once I got into the bag and I realized like how I could kind of carve, shifting my weight, throwing like my calf into the back top pad. And that's the other part when I talk about, well, we'll talk about that more in a little separate part. So anyway, acceleration, mind-boggling. The perception of power, over the top. Absolutely in love. Grizzla, Roger, you guys are cooking. If I've learned anything from superheroes, it is that power means nothing without control. So being able to brake, having that extra braking real estate, and beyond just like the rudimentary braking control, having that kind of cupping sensation up there around your calf, but with enough play, with enough room in between to not stifle your movement in between the front and back pads, so that you're not feeling like you're rigid, to where that none of the animation or the movement that you would be trying to assess or assert with your upper body is ever stifled. So every lean forward, every lean backwards, the contra leaning, because, as you lean as you make a turn, you might lean more into one corner and then back into the other. And having that extra range of fluidity just makes it so much better. Being able to drop back really, really, really far back behind the pads on one side or the other in order to like get an even deeper carve, an even deeper turn. I have never had so much freedom of expression. And ultimately, I feel like that's what it is with these wheels, is that, the way that we move, it becomes like a dance. It becomes like an expression. And things that stifle that expression unnecessarily, really, it just doesn't jive with my experience. And I feel like that sets lots of people back. That's actually stifling for lots of people, even if they don't realize it in the short term. So, pads that box you in way up the leg and just stay that way, it's such a challenging buy for me anymore. Again, when we first got into this pad thing, back in the days of the Kuji pads, and even before that, guys, we did a whole video about like kind of the history on pads and stuff like that. And so, pads have been around for a long time, and the idea of a knob pad, that allowed for a lot of upper shin freedom had been around for a long time. But the problem that I had with that knob style pad was the lack of control, and maybe it's just because I'm a crappy rider, but sometimes, especially with bigger wheels, you can end up getting an incidental wobble during whatever. And if that incidental wobble comes up ever for any reason at all, even if you're the best rider in the world, trying to iron out that wobble is a lot easier with leverage points. So there's that. The Master Pro's an obnoxious cannonball wheel. So realistically, I mean, the idea of control with this wheel is almost an illusion, but it feels damn good. I mean, I say that because when you try to slam on the brakes on this wheel, you're only gonna stop so fast, no matter how good the kit is. Honestly, I could go on and on and on about how much I love the way that my wheel feels right now. And that's what I think should be the takeaway, okay? Is not necessarily how much I love the pads, right? But how much I love my wheel and the way that my wheel feels right now. And after establishing that I really love my wheel right now, that I absolutely love this wheel that I had almost put to the sidelines, that I had almost checked out on, I am absolutely in love with it. And when you step back and you look at it, you got to say, okay, what makes the feeling that has changed? And it's that I now have a clear path to communication with the wheel. I didn't know that I could get this control from it. I didn't know I could get this freedom from it, this fluidity, this flow, this feeling. And that's awesome. So, guys, obviously, you can probably find one of these STLs online at some 3D printing space, Cults or Thingiverse or whatever, and you could probably get them cheaper from somebody in your neighborhood. But if you want to know why everybody loves Grizzla and why they've been so successful, I encourage you, one day just give it a shot for yourself. And if you have experienced the Grizzla quality, please let them know in the comments below what they're missing out on. Because it's not just a print is a print is a print. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you so much for supporting my antics, for being here, for hanging out, for being so damn cool. I can't thank each and every 3,000 plus subscribers that I have right now. And I also want to give a big shout out to my channel members. I mean, you guys, it just means so much to me that you care enough to be here, that you care enough to support what I'm doing. And believe it or not, it makes it easier for me to speak my mind and not be so concerned about the god dang algorithm. Cheers, guys, and thanks for being here.